Hi, I'm Adrian Deras, and I'm going to be applying for the A&R position at Warner Music Group. Today I'd like to talk about why I'm interested in this music field and specifically this job. Also, I'd like to talk about what I personally believe I bring to the table according to the application. And lastly, I'd like to talk about what I believe this job could possibly or potentially do for me and my future in the music field, or in general, just what it could help me out with. First things first, I'd like to talk about why I'm interested in the music field and this job. Um, First, talking about the job, I'm very aware of the Warner Music Group and the different artists they have, like Wiz Khalifa and Ice Cube and other artists. And these artists actually influenced me growing up and making music, and that's why I thought I knew, for as a matter of fact, that I would be able to get along and understand their ideas and the way that they did music, because as one knows, music has a lot to do with vibes, and you have to be able to fit in with the people. So I believed Warner Music Group definitely had a position that I could fulfill and I would be comfortable, which is very important. Secondly, I want to talk about why I'm interested in the music field. Um, I've always been surrounded by it my whole life. My sister was signed to Interscope when she was 9 years or 16 years old. I was 9 years old, and basically the whole time I just grew up loving music and having a deep passion for it. And I'm aware that music also has its business positives to it, because it's always going to be existing, which means it's always going to be having money involved with it. So it has a stable income, but as well as the creativity and the artistic aspect of it. Nothing else really involves both sides of the brain, as I like to say, and because of that, I'm really intrigued by music as a whole, everything about it. Now, secondly, let me talk to you guys about what I believe I can personally bring to the table regarding your application and what you guys asked for. First things first, as I just mentioned, my sister was signed to Interscope Records at 16. I was 10 years old, and basically, what I wanted to say is, ever since then, me and my father, we used to always since I used to go to the record studio right there in LA where they used to record, and I used to go to the main headquarters of Interscope. I was always in both sides of the field, and the thing that happened is we me and my father, we used to go, and me and him just on our own used to see what artists and guess what artists would do good and listen to the songs, because they let us listen to them, and guess which ones would sell, which ones were going to be the ones on the radio, and which ones were not, and what type of crowds would like this song. And basically what I'm saying is that I was doing what a A&R does at the age of 10 without even knowing, just naturally trying to guess with my father. I believe that has a huge part of it, because many things you can't really teach. Some things are innate, and one of those, I believe, is understanding music and knowing who's going to sell and what's going to do good and what's not going to make it. And I believe since having it and showing it since such a young age, at the age of 10, I believe I'll be able to incorporate that at a higher level after school and everything, and being able to have Warner Music Group influence me, and I think it will benefit me, and we will be able to work together. Another thing is I personally make music. It wasn't until I got to college recently, a couple years ago, that I actually got into making it myself. I used to see it as a hobby, but I got more into it once I was in college, and I use Pro Tools, which I saw the application said is preferred. I also use other things like Ableton, Fruity Loops, which is FL Studio, and Logic, and many other types of music creating sources. So I believe just my knowledge of not just being able to talk to them, or having to meet the artist, but actually being able to converse with them about music, and maybe even going into the studio with them and actually interacting musically, is a huge advantage that I personally believe I bring to the table. Another thing is that I've also been writing and making other sorts of music, so I believe that being an A&R, I would also be able to grow in my own musical career. So even though it doesn't look as an advantage, I believe that having two things that I could possibly do for the job is a huge plus, because either I can help with the business side to make sure and find a career through that for you guys, or I could even make my own music, and then, since I already know the whole deal about it, and since I had worked for it, I could just become one of the artists signed to the label. Lastly, I would like to talk about what I believe this job, and more specifically what Warner Music Group, could do for me. I began talking about it just a little bit ago, but basically I want to do music. I believe music influences people and changes people and is a way to communicate with them when most people don't really have voices. That being said, I feel like I'm here to help out the world, and that I need to say certain things out, and that music helps me out. So I just wanted to be surrounded by it, and I saw Warner Music Group had an opening as an A&R, and like I said before, previously mentioned, my previous experience without me even knowing, naturally being an A&R, I saw, oh, it's what I've done my whole life. On top of that, I can continue to work on my craft and continue to try to become the best musician I could possibly be, and influence and help the world. And I believe Warner Music Group is a great start. They could definitely continue to guide me all the way. And thank you. I hope you guys consider my application. Look forward to hearing to you guys soon. Have a good one.